everybody who has subscribed, liked my videos, my shorts, left comments. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. I literally make these videos for the people that find them. So when you guys comment on them and be like, I need to hear this, I'm like, I'm glad you and I found each other. So thank you. Thank you. Now on to the rant. So recently I have been making it my duty to try to be more vulnerable. I feel like I am really good at like everything in my life except being vulnerable. Like I don't like to be vulnerable. And not in the sense of like, I think that being vulnerable is necessarily bad. It just really makes me feel weak to be vulnerable in front of someone. So recently I've been making it a duty to try to be more vulnerable in the actual moment and not like something happens, something upsets me and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna deal with it later. And let me tell you, it's been a journey. I realized that being vulnerable takes a lot of strength actually. People think that, being vulnerable isn't easy. Not people think being vulnerable is easy. Or I feel like people underestimate how much strength you have to be vulnerable. And especially when you've been vulnerable in the past and you've been met with like pushback or someone just being not nice. And I will say that like it's been so liberating to be vulnerable. And although it's very it's like this in the moment, I never walk away feeling any regrets. I feel like I really began to see the strength and the power and vulnerability. Now, don't get me wrong, I do feel like being vulnerable with the wrong people, that, that's where you run into like your issues, and that's where people, like you run into the stories of people being like, I put my heart out there, I laid more of my heart on my sleeve, and this person did X, Y, and Z, yeah, because it was the wrong person. I have been very, what's the word? Picky about who I'm vulnerable with, because I feel like you also gotta know people too. You have to acknowledge people, like even your loved ones in your inner circle. So for example, I'm not gonna put names with anything, but I have someone in my life who she doesn't necessarily handle like crying and all that too well. So I know that I but like I don't express myself to the point of crying around her, because I know she can't handle that, and that's because that's where she is in her life, and it's unfortunate because we all want to like have like our inner circle, our family, our friends, like you want to be able to like be vulnerable with everybody or whatever, but like you gotta remember other people are trying to figure it out on their journey too as well, if that makes sense. So I almost said who it was, for this person, she's not really vulnerable herself in a sense, so I can't expect a certain level of like, I can't expect a certain amount of space themselves, you know? Like, it's just like that person that makes a joke out of everything. It's like they make a joke out of everything, including the traumatic stuff or the bad stuff, because that's how they cope, you know? And they don't mean any harm when they're making these jokes, or they're laughing, or they're trying to make you laugh. Like, they see you crying and their immediate response is to try to make you laugh. Like, that's probably how they cope. So now they're trying to, like, do what they know. Basically, that's all they know. And it's been a journey. It's really been a journey with this whole vulnerability thing, like, honestly and truly. But I honestly have been enjoying it, only because it's like I feel like I'm not holding in any energy that's not welcome. And that's very important, because energy, if you don't basically get rid of it, it will sit with you. And it's transmute the energy, transmute it. You have to get it out of your body. I'm a big believer in crying, ironically. I just don't let it cry in front of people, but I'm a big believer in crying. I say that your tears are water for the soul. Sometimes you gotta cry it out, and that's okay, that's cool. Get the energy out of your body. You know what I mean? Like, don't hold on to it like energy, negative energy. At least you gotta look at it like a pest in your home. You're not just gonna let a rat run around your home. Like, no, you're gonna get it out. So the pests may come in, uninvited, but that doesn't mean that you have to let it stay. You have to live with it. You have to just take that. No, get rid of it. And I think that's why, being able to be vulnerable with people specifically, not just by yourself, because by yourself is one thing. I mean, but being able to be vulnerable with people, I think, is so important, because it's like you're able to get rid of that energy, but like you have someone there to help you, because I feel like when you're vulnerable by yourself, which, I mean, is it even called being vulnerable if you're by yourself? But being vulnerable alone, or being honest with yourself, because some people lie to themselves. I mean, hey. But being able to be vulnerable with someone who can help you dissect things, someone can make you feel heard and pick you back up, water you, pour into you the same way you just depleted yourself of all this energy. Someone can pour into you, uplift you, so you don't feel, when you walk away from the conversation, you don't feel like, oh my god, like I just, you feel like, you know what, you're right, I may feel away right now, but I'm good, I'm gonna be good. It's so important to have people pouring into you. It's so important to have people in your life that pour into you. And if you don't have anybody in your life to pour into you, come to this channel, subscribe, okay, because I plan to pour into as many people as I can. This channel is kind of like a video diary to myself, in a sense. Like, all the things that I wish I would have heard, like, growing up, or all the things that I may need to hear in the future, or I needed to hear, last week, I don't know. I share. I feel like knowledge is power, but so is wisdom. And it's important to share your wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom in the graveyard that people took with them. So, I don't know. For me, it's just like I like to come here and talk and share the wisdom that I do have. I don't think I'm the wisest person in the world, but I do feel like I have a little wisdom, and I'm just here to share. I'm here to pour into you guys. I'm here to uplift you. I'm here to be your BFF, We can form a little parasocial relationship. JK. But, yeah, I just want people to know in the world that they're not alone, because that's something I definitely have struggled with in my past, is feeling alone. So I want people to know that you are not alone. be vulnerable today in whatever way you see as vulnerable. For me, it's crying in front of people. You know, I'm not a fan of crying in front of people, so when I do that, to me, that's like letting that wall down, you know. But if being vulnerable is telling somebody you love them, go tell somebody, go tell whoever it is you love them today. Go be vulnerable. There's so much power in vulnerability, and slowly but surely, I feel like if you continue to do things that you feel are vulnerable or scary or uncomfortable, one day nothing will, for one, nothing will be on that list. Like, nothing will make you uncomfortable. Nothing will, you'll be afraid of nothing, but I feel like you would be so unstoppable in this world. It takes time, so be gracious with yourself because you deserve it. Period. So